So setting is defined as the time and location. And oftentimes setting is dismissed as kind of unimportant because it's very easy to identify time and location. But setting can have a significant part in developing characters, their motivations, and the themes that the characters learn, and we, the audience, also learn as a result. So Alice Walker's The Color Purple was inspired by her own upbringing on a sharecropper's farm. You'll notice as you read and watch that much of the novel is actually not about the racism and segregation many stories focus on when they're set in the 1930s Georgia and this time period. But rather, the novel focuses more on the development of a cultural identity and how it was formed, despite all of the hardships people of color were forced to endure during this time period. So as you look at these images, I want you to jot down your first observations and thoughts, any connections to the novel that you might make, and then also what statement about life or this culture is the image making. So I have zoomed in on the first image. I want you to look at it. Pause this video for a second and jot down your ideas. You can just bullet. First observation, what do you think this image is saying about life? And any connections you can make to the novel. So pause, write down your thoughts, give it a minute, and then come back and press play. Okay, next photo. Same thing. Pause this video and jot down any of your immediate thoughts. What connections can you make to the novel? And what is this image saying about life in Georgia in the 1930s and about the development of this culture? Now you're going to do this through all of these photos. I'm not going to stop at each one, but I'd like to give you an example of what we are looking for. This image really stood out to me. I really liked it. First, it just looked warm. It looked peaceful. These men are fishing, probably for catfish, I'm assuming. And it looks like maybe there's a woman fishing as well. But it looks like I just could feel like the heat and the humidity, and it just seems relaxing, like amidst everything that is going on in the 1930s. Sharecroppers being forced to give up so much of their wages, segregation, Jim Crow laws, all this aggression, especially in the South. And here this image is just, I feel like there should be music in the background, quiet music. It's peaceful, it's serene. I don't know, this just stood out to me. Also, I love this image. This reminds me of the scenes where everybody's at, the jazz house and Shug is just getting down and she's dancing and she has all this life in her. And if you look, there's the way that the characters are dressed vary greatly. You can see some are in proper attire, where others are in a more conservative attire. But as I look at this more and more, you just see the happiness in everybody's face. Now here, you do see that white officer in the background, and I didn't notice him until just now. But what's great about this image, I believe, is that despite the intensity of the white officer, none of the Black men and women and children are even acknowledging that he's there. They are enjoying themselves the dance, probably music, despite his intensity. They are, in essence, creating their own world that doesn't pay attention to what the outside world and how the outside world is oppressing them. So those are just a couple examples of how you can look at a picture, and the longer you look at them, the more you will notice.